What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Spread the Positive podcast. I'm your host, Trent Denson. As always, got another STP 1200 Club member spotlight. Super excited to introduce y'all to Katherine Ellis with DataWise Solution Administration. Katherine, how are you?
I'm doing good. It's a busy time of year for us.
Yes.
So we are just trying to keep our heads above water and get everything knocked out.
I love it. So, I always like to kind of take it back a little bit, get to know you as a person, and then we'll get into all things data-wise. So take us back. Where are you from? What were you into as a kid, and all of that fun stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. Originally from Houston, Texas.
Okay.
Born and raised. Spent a lot of time with my grandparents, doing a lot of blue collar work.
Nice.
Actually kind of grew up in my grandfather's garage doing woodworking and
really cool.
working on cars.
Man, that's cool.
Yeah. So it was an interesting childhood. It was definitely not your typical little girl's childhood. It was more of a country feel.
That's really cool. So early on, getting your hands dirty, doing tangible.
Oh yeah,
Life
working
skills.
with our hands. That kind of made our day. Made us feel like we accomplished something at the end of the day.
Absolutely. That's really cool. So Houston, born and raised, and you've bounced around. We've talked off mic a little bit, but talk to us about your journey and what got you here to Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, absolutely. We met my husband in Houston, Texas, and had our first child, and we were struggling. We really were. My brother-in-law reached out and was like, hey, move to Denver.
Okay.
And
I've heard Denver's awesome.
it actually is beautiful.
Yeah.
So we did. We jumped in with both feet and packed everything up and moved to Denver. Our income tripled.
Nice.
Which for, two 20-something parents was something that was unimaginable back then.
Right. What were y'all doing?
My husband was doing IT work.
Okay.
And I was actually working with a company called Integer doing graphic design for Procter Gamble, Kellogg, Miller Coors.
There you go.
Lots of big name brands.
Corpo. The corpo world.
Yeah, it was
cool.
a different level,
Yeah.
to be sure. Still working with a lot of small business owners on the side. It was more of a hobby back then.
Okay.
After my grandfather and my stepfather both being blue collar workers and helping them out, it was something that I couldn't just give up because I saw how much they needed it, and then
Sure.
how much other people needed it as well.
As far as like bookkeeping, taxes? Okay.
Taxes, things like that.
So you've been doing that kind of your whole...
My whole adult life.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay. Well, that's a good transition.
Yeah.
That's where we are now, right?
Absolutely. And then, we moved a little bit after that. My stepson was in Arizona and he needed some help, so we moved down there for a little bit. And then we absolutely could not live in Arizona for long. It was even hotter than Texas.
Yeah. They say the dry heat's not that bad.
An oven is still an oven.
Fair enough.
So again, one of our friends reached out and was like, hey, some of my renters just moved. Do you want to move to New York?
That's quite a transition.
So again,
Packed it up,
moved up to New York.
Wow.
And right after we got there, COVID hit.
Like New York, or what?
We were in upstate New York. We were
Okay.
near Albany.
Okay, gotcha.
So COVID hit and everything shut down.
Yeah.
Everything. I mean, restaurants were closed for weeks while they tried to figure out how to operate.
Sure.
Grocery stores had only a couple of hours that they were open while they were trying to figure everything out.
That's insane.
Whenever you were out on the roads for a short period of time, you actually had to have papers saying that you were driving to work or you were driving to a doctor's office.
That's so crazy.
You could get pulled over and they could ask you where you were going. They would follow you home if you didn't have papers. It was absolutely insane.
That's so, man, it was not like that down here. I mean,
yeah.
There were protocols and there was stuff, but it was nothing like that.
And
That's
the school
crazy.
system was even crazier.
I can't imagine.
My son, he has allergies, so every time he sneezed, we had to go get a new COVID test.
Literally?
Literally.
Jeez.
So he would be out for 3 days while we got the COVID test, and then go back to school and be in school for 2 or 3 days, have another allergy attack, and then he'd be out again.
Did he get, I mean, did y'all actually get, I mean, was COVID, did it happen?
We had COVID.
Okay. Yeah.
My poor son got COVID on Christmas Eve.
No. Oh, no.
But I mean, he was a trooper. It was like he got the positive test result, and he was like, nope, not happening. He woke up the next day and was fine.
Really?
Yes.
Isn't that crazy?
He was like, no, this is Christmas. This is not happening.
That's amazing.
But when that happened, I mean, everything shut down. My husband, thankfully, was working. He had decided to start a moving company. So he was an essential, and which was great. But at the same time, no one was moving.
Sure. Sure.
So, I took my hobby and I was like, okay, let's do this. And we got our LLC. And we started promoting. I got my first client up in New York, and she's the one that I'm never going to be able to get rid of.
In a good way?
In a great way.
Okay, good.
We moved here to Tennessee, and we told her we were moving, and she's like, "You're not getting rid of me that easily. I'm going to box up my receipts, send them to you." She actually just sent me a text yesterday saying another box of receipts is on the way.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
But once COVID ended and we were able to get our nest egg back, we started thinking about where we wanted to spend the rest of our lives. We actually had another child during COVID.
Okay.
So it was very much, where do we want to set down our roots?
Yeah.
We had a couple friends here in the Middle Tennessee area, and they were like, hey, check this out. And we talked, and we're like, okay, it's Southern hospitality,
Yep.
like Texas. More climate like Denver, where we still have seasons, and we have occasional snowstorms, no blizzards, thank God.
Yeah.
And little mountains, because in Texas, everything's flat.
Right. Little mountains. I love that. That's true.
Yeah, we moved out here to Murfreesboro. My son's in Rockville,
Nice.
and he is succeeding amazingly. He has found his group of friends. He's found his extracurriculars.
Nice.
So now we're starting to look for the forever home.
Congrats.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that. So that's quite a journey. That's so cool. And I think just the fact that you've kind of always been doing this like thing that's like, would you consider it your passion to?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've always been a math nerd.
Yeah.
Numbers just make sense to me. It's like a second language for me.
Mm-hmm.
And
God bless
then
you for that.
with the way that I was raised, it made sense.
Yeah.
It's something that's always been there. My husband's had a couple projects throughout our marriage, and I've always been the administrative person.
Sure.
I'm the one who set up his booking systems. I set up his bookkeeping systems, and I'm the one who always does all the taxes.
Fun stuff. That's incredible. I love that. So now you're here in Tennessee. You got your first client up before you left.
Mm-hmm.
She's still with you. I think that's a testament to your work and how good you are. So shout out to you for that. And now you're here. Feels like home. Looking to really settle down. And now data wise is everything, huh?
It really is. We spent the last 2 years kind of building up our system and our processes and making sure that everything was good to go for expanding and a great launch. And it's okay. Distraction. But yeah, we spent the last couple of years making sure all of our processes were up to date and all of our programs were good. And now we're just focusing on launching this year and really hitting the ground running.
Awesome.
We got a lot of really cool things in the mix, and we're meeting other business owners and community. We were just at Comedy for a Cause
Those
a
are
couple
awesome.
weeks ago, and that was absolutely amazing.
I hate I missed that. I went to a couple of years ago. It was so good. Awesome. So like, what's your target demographic? What's your ideal customer? Talk to us about all things data wise.
Well, so our main income stream is bookkeeping
Okay.
for small to medium-sized business owners, but then we also do tax prep for everyone.
Okay.
Individuals, small businesses, medium and large businesses, escorts, all the different classifications you have for businesses.
Nice.
But, tax season, it hits different for business owners.
Sure.
For individuals, it's about gathering their documents, calling their employers and seeing if their W-2s are on the way, making sure that they get their interest statements and their stock statements and all that. But for business owners, it's really about unraveling a whole year's worth of decisions that they've made.
Yes.
A lot of business owners, they see money coming in, they see money going out, and it's during the year, it's like everything's fine. But that little box of receipts in the corner just starts growing and growing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the avoidance compounds every day.
No.
It really does.
No, I know it does. Trust me.
And, January, February comes around, and that little stack of 10 receipts is turned into 2 or 3 boxes of receipts. And that's when they go, I don't want to do this.
Yes.
I need help.
Absolutely. So this is a personal question. I know receipts are everything, but can you use bank statements?
I use them all the time.
Okay. So that's
primarily receipts, we require them for cash transactions.
okay.
But bank statements, especially nowadays, there's the memo line on your bank statement that says a lot of things.
Right.
And then depending on the business, certain things are obvious write-offs.
Right.
For my first client, my restaurant client, if I see something on her bank statement that says AS Bagels, well, that's obviously her bagel vendor.
Okay.
We know exactly what it is. We don't need proof. But if it's a Walmart receipt, that could be anything.
Got you.
And that's whenever we need to go, okay, what was this for? Do we have the documentation to back this up? Because they will ask.
Okay.
Auditors from the IRS will come in and go, hey, we see this transaction. Can you find the receipt for this transaction? Or can you tell me what this was for?
So, hypothetical, we're doing an event. We go to Walmart. We get stuff for the event. As long as it's just for the event.
As long as it's just for the event, the entire thing's great. We can actually split the transaction in bookkeeping software like QuickBooks.
Right.
So we could say, hey, $46.74 was for business
Gotcha.
and $16 was personal supplies.
Sure. Cool. Yeah.
A lot of my Reconstruction clients are like that. I meet with them. They'll give me a printout of a year, 2 year, 3 years of bank statements. And, I run them through our processor. We pull all the transactions. We throw it in QuickBooks. We categorize everything as if it had been there the entire time.
That's amazing.
And
that is so valuable.
They'll also bring me their box of receipts, and we'll go through and we'll be like, okay, these are the credit card receipts, and we put them in their own pile. These are the cash receipts. And then we start organizing each stack of this is supplies, this is medical, this is labor, and things like that.
Right.
And we scan them all in, we put all that stuff in QuickBooks, and we build out their profit and loss and their entire year's worth of decisions.
Right.
And it really hits home whenever they can see the numbers of how they actually did for the year. Because it's a lot different than seeing money coming in, money going out, and going, hey, I know I have enough to cover my guys, my labor, my materials. But seeing exactly how much came in and how much was spent throughout the year is eye-opening.
Can only imagine. Another, just personal. I'm kind of like your target demo in a lot of ways, so I feel like we could just talk through. What about like mileage and gas stuff?
Oh, goodness.
I know.
So the IRS wants a log. They
Okay.
want to know how much you spent a vehicle for business versus personal.
That's so hard for me to determine.
There are apps.
Yeah,
There are
I know
apps that help,
MileIQ
but
and
at the
stuff.
same time, you have to be on top of it. It tracks your GPS. At the end of your drive, it'll go, hey, was this for personal or was this for business?
Got you.
2-second click.
Got you.
Is it tedious? Absolutely.
Right.
A lot of my guys, they use one vehicle strictly for business. And
Right.
then all they have to do, they take a picture of their odometer at the beginning of the year. They take another picture at the end of the year. That's their
okay.
mileage because it's 100%.
Right. That's tough. Yeah. Because obviously I will have personal trips, but they're like during the day when I'm working, and it's like it's all kind of it gets so tricky.
Especially whenever you have like you go to one project and the mileage going to that project counts, but then you go to do a personal thing. Well, that doesn't count.
Right.
And then the personal thing to the next business, that counts.
Right. Exactly.
So it's like trying to figure out the exact ones that count versus the ones that don't.
Right. That's tough.
One of the ones that I used to use was called Everlance, and it was whenever my husband was doing the moving company.
Oh, nice.
But each trip, it would show you a picture of your route.
Oh, nice.
So I was able to just kind of scroll through and be like, oh, that was Walmart, that's personal. Oh, that was the doctor, that was personal. Gotcha. And that helped a lot.
That's good. Is that still around?
I think so. I think they might have changed the name of it. I can have to check.
That's cool. Okay, what else? Bookkeeping and all taxes, it's the bane in an entrepreneur's existence. It really is. And for you to be an entrepreneur and then handle that, it's like such a unicorn.
So a lot of us will actually outsource our own books.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing. Like I can spend hours doing someone else's books, but then whenever it comes to my own books, it's like I don't have time for this.
That's interesting.
And it's not a business owner being irresponsible. It's they're busy.
Right.
They have other things that they need to focus on in order to earn money.
Right.
They shouldn't have to be their own compliance, their own bookkeeper, their own HR department. Like on top of every other hat that they wear.
Right.
That's just not feasible.
It really isn't.
And that's where we come in. I mean, we come in, we can do the bookkeeping, we can do invoicing, we can do compliance. Some of my clients are contractors, and they subcontract out, which means that they are responsible for making sure that their subcontractors have their business license and their insurance and everything like that.
Right.
So we actually manage that for them.
Okay.
And we make sure that everything's in compliance as far as that's concerned. We make sure that all the annual reports and all the little things that you have to file with Tennessee in order to be a business stay up to date and current, and they don't get a nasty gram from Tennessee saying their LLC is dissolved.
Yeah, that would be all. Yeah. This is scary stuff.
It really is.
But you're like a superhero, making sure that doesn't happen. I love that.
And I mean, it's not just me. My husband helps out too. He's currently a project manager for a big testing company, but that skill set he brings into my business and helps me kind of think a little bit more holistically about my clients. And it's like, okay, how can we optimize what they do? How can we fix their scheduling? How can we make it easier for them so that they're not having to remember 30,000 things every day?
Right.
Let's focus on 10. Let's
Sure.
focus on the 10 money-making things.
The 80-20 rule type thing.
Try to automate everything else that we can.
It. Another buzzword, hot button topic. I know. I'm going there.
Don't you pull TikTok.
No, not quite TikTok, but AI.
AI.
Talk to me about AI, because I feel like there's a ton of tools out there now that can streamline some of this stuff.
I love AI, and I hate AI at the same time.
Feel that.
QuickBooks has had features built in for quite a while where you could set up auto rules. So let's say everything from Home Depot is classified as supplies and materials.
Got you.
Great. Perfect. As long as it's accurate.
Sure.
I have a catering client who her previous bookkeeper had put everything from the grocery stores as personal, because for most people,
grocery store
would be personal.
Sure.
But for a catering company, she goes and she buys her personal groceries. She buys her clients' groceries, and it's a mix.
Right.
So even on QuickBooks, it'll pop up and go, hey, we suggest this category for this transaction.
Nice.
Which could be great for my construction client, could be disastrous for my catering client.
Right. That's interesting. Man, you got such a wide range of people you serve, too. I bet do you love that?
I do. I love being able to see into each different type of business and how it operates, because we're not just about the numbers.
Sure.
It's not just about what QuickBooks says. We actually are more of side by side with the business owners.
That's awesome.
In order for me to do my job properly, I need to know exactly how it operates
Okay.
so that we can make sure everything's classified correctly and optimize their business and give them ideas and give them different solutions that they haven't thought of.
Well, that's a great segue. What, as business owners, do we often not think of? And especially with this time of the year being so timely, like what are like top 3 things you would say business owners should really look for some guidance on?
Developing their processes,
Okay.
things like mileage,
Yes.
figuring that out now because it's something that has to be done proactively.
Okay.
We can estimate mileage retro going backwards, but the IRS is going to want to see those logs. They're going to want to see where you came up with the estimates.
Okay.
So if we could get ahead of that and figure out a way to automate it or make it as painless as possible, and that's really the thing is reducing the pain factor,
Right.
and making it so that you don't have to dedicate the time and the thought to each one of those processes.
Got you. That's one.
That's one. You got me here.
Well, you were kind of talking about before we got started, just, as far as, well, we've kind of covered that too, just how it's different for individuals and business owners and that year's worth of decisions. I think that's such a great way to frame that because it really is like, and that's such a daunting task for the person that's not outside looking in, right?
It really is.
Yeah.
For business owners, from an outside perspective, as a consumer, consumers are like, oh my gosh, the prices are going up. They're just trying to make more money. But what they don't realize is that the business owners, it's not just their livelihood. It's them, it's their family, it's their employees, it's their employees' families, it's their vendors and their vendors' families. Like a single
that's
business
crazy.
owner impacts a huge amount of people.
Right.
And I mean, simple mistakes that cause audits or causes administration issues with Tennessee can shut down a business.
Yeah.
And
Nothing
one business
scary
gets
about that.
impacted and
Then it's,
cascades.
man, that's not scary at all.
But I mean, there's routes to fix it. I've helped many places who've had their LLCs dissolved and they didn't even know it.
And they're just operating as
And they're
usual.
just operating. They're operating as usual. They're like, hey, we're an LLC, everything's great. And I go to the Secretary of State's website and I see that their LLC dissolved 3 years ago.
Oh, no.
Because in Tennessee, whenever you're an LLC, you have to pay franchise and excise taxes every year and you have to file an annual report every year. If you don't do those 2 things in about 6 months, they go, well, I guess you're not an LLC anymore. I guess you're not operating anymore because you didn't file the proper forms.
Right. What's the franchise and excise? What does that mean?
So the way I explain it is basically Tennessee's income stream from LLCs.
Got you.
It's on the revenue. It's on the property that they have here in the state.
Okay. Do you have to own that property?
They do. There is a little bit of a difference here between renting property and owning property.
Yeah, right.
But most of the small businesses who are just home offices or they just rent a space, it's a small $125 fee a year
Right.
for the taxes.
And that's just,
And that's just for Tennessee,
got you.
which is completely different than Tennessee business taxes.
Right. Good.
Once business owners hit $100,000 of gross receipts, so just what they bring in before any expenses, that's whenever they technically owe Tennessee business taxes.
Got you.
And that applies to any business, whether they're a sole prop, an LLC, does not matter.
So that 6-figure mark,
That's whenever
that
they start going.
flags the excise and franchise stuff.
And that's whenever your business license goes from a minimal activity license to an actual business license.
That checks. I'm kind of revealing
It's all
myself.
it's all of these like little small compliance things that we
Yeah.
handle. We have calendars up on our wall with dates circled and I have emails that go out automatically going, hey, reminder, April 1st, your annual reports are due. If you need help, let me know. I can file it for you.
That's a pretty simple process, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's who's on the LLC.
Where it's located, who's allowed to talk to them about it,
Gotcha.
and, have there been any changes?
The register agent and all that, yeah. That's like $300 every time.
Per member.
Per member. Oh, good. Okay.
I think it's like $300, and then it's like $50 per member after that. I'd have to look at the exact numbers again. Most
Gotcha.
of mine are single member LLC, so it's $300.
Got you. Cool.
But you have a lot of people who are like, oh, husband and wife will both be on it. We'll be 50-50 partners. And it just honestly creates more issues than it solves. Because as a single member LLC, everything's reported on your personal tax return.
Right.
But once you start adding members, the business gets its own tax return and it distributes out to each member.
Right. And if those, we don't need to go through. And those are your
Technical
K9s.
Your K1s.
K1s,
Yeah,
K9s. That's
K9.
dog.
That's a dog.
That's Cammy over there. She's a K9. K1, that's right. Man, this is all good stuff. And yeah, it's such a complex thing that you provide for people. So I'm excited to see just how you continue to grow and being able to kind of shape some content that'll be, applicable and tangible for the people you're looking for and targeting. So it's super exciting. Congratulations. I mean, naming all these different industries and all these different clients, like you clearly got something going.
And each one is individual. I mean, my restaurant client is nothing like my construction client. Even my restaurant to my catering clients, two completely different things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most people would think, oh yeah, it's food. It's all the same. No, it's drastically different.
Right. Just how does that differ? Because I guess brick and mortar versus going out and hosting the events. And I mean, she has a lot more labor costs than my catering client does, and a lot more people coming and going. My restaurant client, she's got a core like 10 employees. Mm-hmm. They're all payroll. Everything's great. My catering client, she has some employees, but then she also has some contractors that come in and just so like W-2s versus 1099s and all that. Man, that's a lot. So you've kind of talked a little bit, or just really hone in on like ideal client, or if someone sees this, like who are you really looking to? I mean, small to mid-sized businesses is kind of a blanket statement, but like who's like ideal?
So our ideal clients are the ones who are overwhelmed. It's the ones who they can either spend their time with their family at the end of the day, eating dinner, asking them how their day was, and spending that time together, or they can go upstairs and they can do their invoicing and bookkeeping.
Right.
The ones who are at that point where they have to make decisions on how they're spending their time.
Gotcha. So the overwhelmed solopreneur.
The ones who want to pull their hair out at the end of the day, that's our guys.
Hair. Yeah, I hear you.
If they have hair.
I'm attacked again. No. Okay.
Or if they've already pulled all their hair out.
Right.
That works
That might be. That's probably a combination over here. Well, that's awesome. Anything you want to shout out? Or tell us where to follow y'all and websites, socials, all that.
Yep. We are at www.datawiseadmin.com.
Okay.
You'll find all of our business and our personal, as far as individual taxes on there and bookkeeping. Same thing with Facebook. You've actually probably connected with me already on my professional profile. It's Katherine Ellis.
Okay.
Or DataWise Admin is our
social
business
pages.
page.
Cool. Yep. Cool. Well, y'all be sure to check Katherine out. LinkedIn, obviously, pretty active on LinkedIn. Is that kind of your main
Facebook's
platform?
actually been our main.
Really? Okay, cool. So check them out on Facebook, DataWise Admin here in Murfreesboro. Super excited to have you as part of the 1200 Club. Thank you for your support, and looking forward to growing with you and telling your story and creating some cool content for you to share with your people. It's going to be really fun. So thank you again, and we'll wrap this one up, and we'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.
Thank you.